Crimson Desert has got to be one of the most loved and hated games at the same time. It does so many things right, but it's weighted down by its amount of flaws. Today I will be playing through the first 3 chapters to find out if it's even worth the money and time. The game opens up with this mysterious tunnel that takes us to the playable character of the game, Cliff. I made my way towards the Grey Main settlement, the faction from which the main character comes from. I soon learned about the main enemies of the group, Black Bears, and they didn't let us wait long. Without any prior training, I was thrown into the combat. One by one, I was slowly taught the most basic fighting mechanics, like attacking, blocking, rolling, and turning slash. But trust me, later it gets way more complex. It felt like we were successful at defending the camp, but then Bjorn showed up, the leader of Black Bears, and it's safe to say I wasn't ready for him yet.
Give Gian my regards.
It would seem like it's over for Cliff, but no. Without any explanation, I ended up in this weird place in the sky. It was more of a tutorial section about the movement and puzzles this game has. And let me tell you, there is a lot of puzzles. When I reached the end, Cliff was back in the water. But this time, he had some sort of power that lifted him up. The next scene, I was finally on land. Sebastian, the guy that got Cliff out of the water, advised me to start in the tavern if I wanted any information. But right after, he was attacked by some bandits, demanding money. And the warrior Cliff was, he helped him deal with them. As a sort of thank you, Sebastian gave me horse and a small tour around the city. In the tavern, I learned nothing really useful. But at least I played a round of arm wrestling. After winning, I made my way outside, where I was greeted by a beggar. I decided to help him, and well, it showed up that he is no ordinary man. Before I could even think about what that was, I heard a woman screaming from the sewer. I went to explore it, but of course on my way, I collected everything I could. And again, it showed up that she also possesses some kind of magical powers. As you may have noticed by now, the story writing isn't great. But I carried on, helping a child retriever cat and a lazy man clean the chimney. By doing those good deeds, the key I got from the old man was now somehow enhanced. It was a key from a room in a castle. When I entered, there was a mysterious gate that took me to the abyss. Upon arrival, a white crow gave me a new power that let me solve another puzzles. Basically just a hook that lets you move things around. Inside was the beggar from before, and he sent me to restore another abyss by completing a few puzzles, and this time quite simple. Once I was done, I was told just to jump and use my newly gained wings. On the start of chapter 2, the medallion from the girl I helped before led me to a nearby tower. Once I dealt with the enemies occupying it there, it was free to explore. I slowly made my way upstairs, avoiding a few traps, and on the top floor I found a special helmet, able to read memory fragments. And like if the events weren't already strange enough, when I got outside, the girl and her cat were waiting there, and offered me a gift. But of course it wasn't for free, I had to solve yet another puzzle. And the reward? Abyss artifact, used to upgrade your skills. I was now on my own, so before continuing with the main quests, I decided to explore a little bit. I started on the outer parts of the city, where I discovered a few shops, but I had no money to buy anything yet. I then made my way towards the center of the town, where this time I noticed some of the NPC markers being yellow. When I approached them, they gave me quests. The blacksmith needed some wood, and the arms dealer some iron. Usually you would just buy it somewhere, but no, they wanted me to mine it myself. It is quite an interesting mechanic to have in a game like this. I carried on, keeping in mind to do it later. Not long after, I ran into a group of free swords, who were after any grey mane that crossed their path. When they saw Cliff, the knight Matthias challenged him to a duel. Usually, this would seem like an easy fight, but I was still learning the mechanics, so it was not so simple to me. Especially because I was trying to parry all his attacks. When I finally came to the conclusion that this probably isn't the way and I started using rolling more, it became much easier. By defeating him, I caught the attention of the marshal from this region, who had a simple request: help him deal with brigands causing some troubles. But first, I started by getting the wood and iron for the villagers, because having good relationship in this game is also very important. The next main quest took me to a mill occupied by bandits, and as one might expect, it was my job to take care of them. Once I was done, I one by one visited some of the victims of the bandits. With the clues I got, I could deduce who the main suspect is. It all led to the Godleaf Guild.
You're causing this town a lot of trouble.
All will be explained in due time, and the true monster revealed.
That seemed quite strange. Right after, I got information about some healer that was attacked by the bandits, because they refused to give them some sort of sky stone. When I got to the place, it was already too late. He was kidnapped, and again it was my job to rescue him. I expected some trouble, so I finally decided to invest some of my points into the skill tree. And as you can see, it's huge. I invested in some of the more general things, like stamina and health. But also I got this sort of grappling hook that really improved my movement. I got rid of the enemies, trying stealth this time. And when I freed the healer, I got some interesting information.
Shakatu was meant to lead the guild, with the horn splitter at the helm. Well, it spells doom for all Hernand, I'm afraid.
I talked with Shakatu, wouldn't ask me to defeat the horn splitter to stop him from doing any more harm. I wasted no more time and went to his camp to do just that. He was the most interesting boss so far. Compared to others, he could do more than just swing his sword. At one point, I almost ran out of health, so I began wondering if there was a way to heal during combat. I opened my inventory and tried using food, and it actually instantly raised my health. I tried it one more time, and it worked again. This made me realize that if I wanted, I could just spam food during fights and never lose as long as I have some left. I must say, I'm not a big fan of this system. With my newfound knowledge, it was now easy to win. Both the Marshal and the Godleaf Guild were happy about my victory, so they gave me a place to start a new Greymane campaign and some supplies. What I really did not expect was to get the ability to switch between characters. I wasn't even done learning all the things I can do in this game, and suddenly I had a brand new character with brand new skill tree, abilities and even a gun. I finished the basic setup of the camp, and when I tried to get to the next mission area, it forced me to switch to Cliff again, even though it's been only like 10 minutes since I unlocked the new character. Once I was done cooking for the group, it was time to start gathering other Greymanes again. I knew that one was in the city, and other two found us by themselves, but some had to be rescued. One of them was in the House of Healing for his crimes, but they didn't allow me to just walk in, so I had to find a way on my own. I just climbed over the walls, and then jumped to the ground, thinking they won't kick me out once I'm inside. They immediately recognized me as an intruder, and I was thrown out. The next time I tried to be more sneaky, in the realms of possibility. When I attempted to get in the building he was in, they instantly spotted me. When I tried fighting with them, one tackled me down, and somehow I terribly messed up the quick time event, which led to them kicking me out again. Now I knew I had to choose a different way in, but which? One of the guards came in handy. He offered me a disguise that will get me in exchange for some money. It was half of what I currently had, but seeing I had no other option, I accepted. The guard, absolutely clueless, let me in, and I could freely walk inside. The building was like a maze, and finding the target was quite a challenge. I ran into him, while I was escaping the witness seeing me steal. It was an accident, by the way. Ian took his things back, and we went back to the camp. My search continued, and this time it led me to Grand Bright Manor, where we heard from our comrades last. Upon arrival, it was clear that something happened here. But before I could investigate what, mysterious enemies surrounded me. Based on how they appeared and disappeared, it was evident that they controlled some kind of magical power. Inside, I found a trail that should lead me to my allies. I was following it, but on my way, waves of the same type of enemies repeatedly appeared and attacked me. I reached the place where they were hiding just in time, but the demon, or what it is, managed to escape. It was now on me to track him down and end him for good. So I followed the lead and soon ran into the first group of enemies. They were the same as in the manor, but this time they kept respawning. After a while, it became strange. I noticed the wind spinner, and then I realized this is probably what caused the respawning. Once I destroyed it, there were no more of them. I continued on the trail and destroyed the wind spinners on my way. The enemies were always the same, only sometimes having bigger versions. I finally reached a place that for sure looked like a boss arena. I upgraded some of my skills and then went to summon him. In my opinion, some of the boss fights in this game are really epic and fun. This one was really fast and mobile, and in second phase he even used multiple copies of him. But in the end, I won. Back in the camp, I discovered another unique mechanic of this game. I could now dispatch my camp members to do some tasks without me needing to get further involved. This time, for example, I had to send them to do camp expansion. While I was waiting for that to be done, I went to do other side quests, and I had a lot of them. I began by obtaining a mythical mushroom for a kid that wanted it. It was in this weird forest inside of a cave. I was not paying any attention, and without any hesitation, I went straight in. That was a mistake, because some other mushroom instantly put me to sleep. When I woke up in a completely different place, I realized I must be more careful next time. But before I could even reach the cave again, someone shot me with a sleep dart. And the same thing also happened on my next try. But this time when I woke up, I was not alone. Standing there was a child offering me a way into the village if I help her retrieve a thing that was stolen from her chief. I went to the place where it was supposed to be, allegedly on a giant creature's head. The game doesn't really tell you where exactly to search. So for the next about 10 minutes, I was scouting the area to find it. I finally got lucky and heard it in a distance. Prepared for a fight, I went there, but it actually wasn't hostile. So I retrieved the thing, gave it back, and now I could enter the magical village in the forest. Also, I now had Soul Day of Bond, with which I could feed birds and then take them as pets. But as I found out, it doesn't work in all areas. I went back to complete the mushroom quest and explore the village. It was very different from the ones I've been in before. By the time I was done, the expansion of the camp was complete. It was time for celebration and the end of chapter 3. As I said on the start of the video, I will be ending there. I can say that I actually enjoyed the game. It had some weak moments, like the story or the first few main quests that are basically just a long tutorial. But once I got over the boring parts and accepted that this game's story won't be anything special, the experience was really enjoyable. I don't regret starting the game, and I will definitely continue playing. Thank you for watching this far, and if you enjoyed the video, you can consider subscribing to not miss any of my future uploads. And I'll see you on the next one.